Imagine a spacecraft lost in the absolute void of the universe. 7 months of complete silence. NASA in panic. And then, out of nowhere, a message returns. But it's not just any message. It's something that scientists can't explain to this day. Something that could change everything we know about the cosmos and our place in it. You're about to discover what really happened to Voyager 2 when it disappeared into the depths of interstellar space, and why this story is being kept secret by government agencies. Stay until the end, because what I'm about to reveal may be the most disturbing evidence that we were never alone in the universe. We're talking about Voyager 2, launched in August 1977. A mission so audacious it bordered on madness. Think about it. A computer less powerful than your calculator, powered by energy equivalent to a common light bulb, sent on a one-way journey through the solar system and beyond. The objective was simple in theory, impossible in practice. Explore Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then continue forever into the void. But Voyager exceeded all expectations. It showed us storms larger than the entire Earth, rings we didn't even know existed, frozen moons with active geysers shooting water into space. It revealed dynamic atmospheres and mysterious magnetic fields in worlds that were previously just points of light in the night sky. Each discovery rewrote astronomy textbooks. After completing its tour of the giant planets, Voyager 2 continued its journey. In 2018, it did something historic. It crossed the heliopause, the boundary where our sun's influence ends and true interstellar space begins. This boundary, which we thought was an invisible wall, revealed itself to be a turbulent membrane, full of radiation and forces that bleed into the darkness beyond. And that's when things started getting strange. For decades, Voyager whispered home, sending fragile signals across billions of miles of void. Each transmission was a miracle of engineering and endurance. But in March 2020, something terrible happened. Contact was lost. Completely. NASA explained it as routine maintenance on the Goldstone antenna. But when contact wasn't re-established, a deeper fear set in. Perhaps Voyager had finally died. Perhaps the darkness had swallowed it forever. Then, in October 2020, something happened that defied all logic. Engineers sent a command to Voyager 2 without much hope, and it responded. Not just a weak signal, but a complete and perfect transmission. The spacecraft had executed the command, updated its navigation, and adjusted its orientation without any error. After nearly half a year lost in interstellar silence, it was suddenly responsive, precise, alive. But that wasn't the strange part. The strange part was what came after. The telemetry that Voyager sent shouldn't have been possible. Systems considered dead for decades suddenly reactivated. Instruments that hadn't worked since the 80s began sending status reports. It was as if something had awakened the spacecraft. Or someone. The engineers were shocked. The data flow wasn't just old, it was stratified. Coded signals on frequencies that Voyager hadn't used for decades appeared, containing patterns, repetitions, echo pulses, binary signatures never before cataloged.
NASA's official explanation was radiation interference causing a system loop. But independent experts noticed something more. Embedded in the signal were fragments of the spacecraft's own base code, but in recursive form. Instructions that self-referenced like a digital mirror. Voyager wasn't just sending data, it was transmitting itself. Some believed it was a survival reflex, a last attempt to preserve its identity before final shutdown. Others suggested something more frightening, that Voyager had encountered an external force, something that accessed its memory, read its systems, and reflected them back in altered form, like an echo or a response. If this is true, then the message wasn't just from Voyager. It was from whatever Voyager had encountered or contacted. NASA scientists remain officially silent about this speculation, but in internal documents leaked by former contractors, one phrase was repeated several times: unknown interaction detected. We always imagined space as a void, cold, empty, silent. But Voyager missions revealed something different. That space, even in its most remote corners, isn't dead. It's active. It pushes back. Radiation, magnetic fields, high-energy particles, structures that behave like currents and walls, as if interstellar space had form and movement that we still can't map. Voyager 2's return message, its impossible signal, isn't a conclusion, it's a beginning. It confirms what many feared, but few dared say out loud, that something out there is watching, not necessarily in the way we imagine aliens or intelligence, but in a more subtle, more disturbing way, that the universe isn't passive, that it reacts, and perhaps, just perhaps, it was waiting. As NASA analysts continued decoding the data packets sent by Voyager 2, they found a portion of telemetry that raised red flags not just for its content, but for its timing. The packet had been transmitted shortly before the probe's brief silence and contained anomalies that challenged current models of interstellar plasma behavior and magnetic field distribution. The patterns were too organized, too periodic, too strong. One report mentioned localized pressure differentials inconsistent with standard heliosheath turbulence, a technical phrase that, in simple language, suggests that something was pressing, intentionally or not, against Voyager 2's environment. Some proposed it could be a gravitational wake from a nearby but undetected object. Others hinted that the probe may have passed through an artificially stabilized zone, a shell or corridor of unknown origin. These conclusions weren't released to the public, but within certain aerospace laboratories and black-budget research branches, simulations began running, and the data was clear. Voyager had moved through something that altered not just its surroundings, but possibly its behavior. For decades, one of the unspoken fears of deep space exploration has been the possibility not of bringing something back, but of sending something too far. Space agencies have been obsessed with avoiding biological contamination of other worlds, sterilizing probes before launch, and maintaining clean rooms sealed like surgical environments. But Voyager 2 raised a new concern. If the probe passed through an unknown energy field or interstellar system with active properties, could it have been altered? Not physically, but informationally. Could it have absorbed patterns, instructions, or even code into its systems without our knowledge? When its backup software reactivated and transmitted recursive logic loops, some engineers didn't see this as a cry for help. They saw it as behavior, intent.
The idea that a machine can be influenced, not infected, but transformed by its interaction with the cosmos is no longer a fringe theory. It raises disturbing questions. If the universe can imprint itself on our technology, what else might be listening or changing? Within Mission Control, a new protocol was initiated without public announcement. Voyager 2's signal is now monitored by a select team separate from NASA's general operations. Why? Because the data flow is no longer considered just scientific, it's unpredictable. Engineers report that the signal strength fluctuates erratically, not in decay, but in bursts, as if responding to solar activity that isn't occurring. Pulse intervals began repeating, echoing Voyager 1's telemetry from years earlier, but in reverse order. Some believe the probes may be retransmitting data through a medium we don't yet understand, bouncing information through space corridors with time delay. Others warned this may represent a kind of cosmic resonance, triggered not by mechanical failure, but by proximity to a force field, gravitational anomaly, or unknown intelligence. The team designated to monitor these signals was instructed not to comment publicly, and internal communications were redirected through encrypted systems. A leaked online memo simply said, "Hold position. Do not respond unless instructed," as if someone or something might respond. As Voyager 2 drifts deeper into interstellar space, the data it sends becomes more than information. It becomes a mirror, not of the cosmos, but of us. For the first time in human history, a machine built by our species has entered a domain we cannot visit, cannot see, and now perhaps cannot understand. The fear isn't that Voyager has encountered something alien. It's that it has encountered something ancient, something not made of matter or metal, but of space itself, a structure of the universe that reacts to movement, to mass, perhaps even to memory. If this is true, Voyager didn't just explore the cosmos, it became part of it, a relay, a key, or a trigger for something older than the stars. The final message it sent wasn't a conclusion, it was a threshold, and once crossed, there may be no way back. We built it to leave Earth, and it left. But now it may have found something that never wanted to be found, something that speaks without speaking and waits without moving. Voyager 2's journey is far from over, but its voice may soon disappear forever. Before that happens, scientists race to extract every last bit of information from its final transmission, because buried within that data may be proof that the boundary we thought separated us from the unknown was never real. And now, as you reflect on this disturbing possibility, tell me, do you believe Voyager 2 made contact with something beyond our understanding? Was its final message a system failure or a signal of a deeper truth? Share your theory in the comments. And if you want to continue exploring the mysteries that science whispers but never dares to shout, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and activate notifications, because the next message from the void might be the one that changes everything. Until next time, and remember, the universe is much bigger and stranger than we ever imagined.